The Olympics, did you see? The boxing gender rows caused controversy this week. So Imaine Khalif of Algeria and Taiwanese boxer Lin Yu Ting have both previously failed gender tests, but they won their first fights in Paris. So whilst apparently not a trans issue, does it highlight potential dangers if men are allowed to compete in women's sport? Emma Wolf.
I think danger is the right word. Is this fair? Is one question. I think we need to work out where we are on gender and competitive sport, especially something like boxing. But, OK, is it fair? But is it safe? Because actually, the female boxer who withdrew from the fight after, 45 seconds? The Italian said that she literally had never been punched so hard.
Yeah.
So I just think, and I'm not a geneticist, and I'm still struggling to get my head around the XY and the YY and what actually is the truth about Khalif, because apparently they were born, if Khalif was born female and has lived all their life as a female, and scientifically they're not a man, then I don't really understand what was going on here.
The boxing authorities, the IBA, did a quote-unquote gender test, that's all it said, and they said he has XY chromosomes, so he's a man. And let's be honest, we don't need a weatherman to tell us whether it's raining outside.
I know, and I've read coverage saying they were born. I've read coverage saying they were born female and are not scientifically a man. So it's not absolutely cut and dried, this one. But we need to work out what we think about this, because either you have women competing in women's sports and that is safe, and then men competing against men, and then you have a trans category.
Why is it so complicated? We don't want men in women's sports, surely.
It's not new. No. It's not new. Stella Walsh at the 1932 Olympics was proven to be a hermaphrodite with both sexual sets of organs after she died, and yet won a gold medal at the 1932 Los Angeles Games.
What discipline?
The 100 metres, the blue ribbon.
As a woman or a man?
As a woman. As a woman. And there's the interesting point, isn't it? All of these cases are of people who may have male advantages who compete in women's categories. It's in fact, it's almost absent that it is someone competing in a male category that has transitioned or identifies or has identified or may be identifiable as a woman.
Roger?
I just find it mystifying. I mean, if we're only talking about people who have mixed genes and hermaphrodites, or could be both, it's such a small number of people. Why are we even wasting time talking about it? If, on the other hand, we're talking about trans issues, then I really personally do not think that men and women should compete in each other's sport.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't know why anyone would support that. I just find it completely baffling.
Well, there are plenty of people who do.
I know, and I find it crazy.
We're talking about women who have high levels of testosterone when it's indeterminate, that sort of indeterminate thing when the DNA, because that is an intersex.
The term is intersex, exactly.
And testosterone is the kind of hormone of power, isn't it? It's the one of strength.
But even when people say, well, this trans man, I'm trying to think of which way around it. This trans man has trans woman has almost zero testosterone, back to female levels. That doesn't make a difference if they've gone through male puberty.
No, they're still more powerful.
They've got massive lung capacity, great bone density, ATP, the explosive chemical in their muscles, which allows them to really explode off the ground. They've got much more of all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter if you've got low testosterone. I'm sure plenty of blokes around the UK and the world have low testosterone.
They are still more powerful and much stronger.
They can still pack a punch.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think about the Olympics generally? Do you know what? I've not watched any of it since the
I was on another program on another station, and I talked about the opening.
You weren't on another station, Roger, were you?
I talked about the opening ceremony, and it so far has had 1 million hits in 5 days. People were interested. I just said it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Yeah. I had to buy a bottle of Cillit Bang to get the vomit off my telly screen. I mean, I just can't believe what kind of sick people.
Yeah.
I came here from France. I'm bilingual. When I'm in France, I'm French. I can't believe the French people could put up with something.
Well, the Olympics committee had to apologise for any offence caused with that Last Supper picture.
Not only the Last Supper, but all the rest of the
gyrating and all the inappropriateness.
You had a trans Smurf. You had, I don't know if you saw. No one's really talked about this on the TV, but online there was a very quick screenshot taken of the opening ceremony where one of the guys, how to explain this without being too graphic?
Exactly.
Part of his anatomy show.
Ben, that was everywhere. That was everywhere.
So I've been on holiday this week.
That was really
hanging out.
tasteless.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that was intentional?
Of course. I mean,
not just a mistake.
Of course. It was so sick. In the country where culture and literature and arts and food
Roger,
and style is supposed to be the pinnacle of the world.
So much to celebrate about France. Where were the baguettes? Where was the red wine? Where was the class and the style and the Parisian...
The garlic and the bicycles.
The Parisian flair. Like, where was the Frenchness of it all?
I couldn't believe that. And, you know, the French usually... they put down speed bumps in the street and people don't like it, so they start blowing their horn at 3 a.m. every time they go over a speed bump. They do something to go out and burn tires in the street. Where were all the French people that normally would go and burn something like that down?
Yeah.
I mean, and nobody objected. It was unbelievable. I was flabbergasted.
It's because the IOC has seconded Macron, and Macron wants to play ball with them, and it's because France wants to be part of this selectariat and commentariat, this wokishness that's absolutely enveloped the world, is because the person who is defending the IOC to the hilt on these issues is a person called Mark Adams, who was your friend's best man.
He was Keir Starmer's best man.
You just called Keir Starmer my friend.
Keir Starmer's best man. But look, I think you're right, and I think that Macron did it because of the European elections.
Yes.
I think that he figured these kind of tastes, these kind of people are the people who voted in
But did Macron have any input into the opening ceremony? Surely not.
Oh, sure. Nothing happens in France without the government.
He's the Putin of France.
So he's just trolling all the right-wingers in... I mean, it was an absolute...
It was so unwatchable. What's astonishing to me is that, yes, you get this crazy woke vision. I mean, the artistic director was completely mad.
Yeah, well,
and it all gets put together. But do no committees go, hang on a minute, this is awful? Do you remember our opening ceremony?
Yeah.
2012. Beautiful, everybody loved it. People still watch it, apparently, weirdos. Well, people still watch it and weep because it was so beautiful. Our London opening ceremony, and it was. But it's so odd that no one stopped this, Roger, because it was mad.
Yeah, everything that happens in France happens through what they call la combine, through the... I mean, it's been there for centuries.
Revolutionary. It's from the revolutionary times.
And you know, I mean, somebody issues an order, we're going to do this, and that's what happens.
Well, or it's the guillotine.
It's the guillotine.
Just on that Mark Adams point, can I just give you something here? His X account describes him as...
So Mark Adams is the Olympics communications...
He is. He's the director of communication for the
Starmer's
IOC.
best man.
Starmer's best man. His X account describes him as IOC, Comms Director, World Economic Forum, Chief Editor, Euronews, Editor, ITN, BBC, working to make Tokyo 2020 a success. This is a minor supervillain from the Schwab comic universe.
Yeah, he's got his fingers in all the pies,
Literally.
clearly. Well, look, France has fallen. Macron, isn't, akin to Putin.
Well, no wonder Macron went on holiday.
France hasn't invaded anyone, of course. And also, we don't want to incite violence by calling for riots and so on, although the French are famed for that. But, let's hope the electorate in France, somehow push back on this. But they seem to like Macron, don't they? They voted for the left wing. They voted to keep Macron in when Le Pen was surging. So, democracy.
Well,
man.
no, I mean, Macron took a real beating.
He
He's a lame duck for the next 3 years.
Well, some would argue he's still in power.